Hello.
Hey.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
How you guys
afternoon.
doing? Good. Okay, goodbye.
All right, folks, again, thanks everybody for coming. This is, get in here, quick, come on. We haven't started just yet.
Sorry.
Stragglers.
Sorry about that.
We can't let you in. We've already positioned the table.
Sorry.
Fire hazard.
It's too late.
I've actually had water spill on the guests before because of that.
Oh,
That's what I try to avoid.
God.
Except I had an entire pitcher that day. That was good. So, folks, thanks everybody for
You got a
coming.
shower.
Yeah. He doesn't really need an introduction, but this is Richard Epcar. Thank you for being here. Writer, director, actor, voice actor. I'm going to stop there because I can just keep going. More than 400 characters voiced, and also games and animation both. And I started voicing, I believe, was Robotech your first?
Well, Robotech was the first big anime thing that I worked on.
Of course, done Ghost in the Shell, Bleach, Naruto. Again, I could keep going. Lists for video games: Mortal Kombat, Final Fantasy, Skyrim, Saints Row. Again, I could keep
Kingdom
going.
Hearts
Just
is a big
stop
one.
there.
Yeah.
Yes. So we.
Injustice, Gods Among Us. I played the Joker in that. That's very important. You can't leave the Joker out. He's an iconic character.
Exactly. But I let you handle that sort of
Oh,
stuff.
that's
So,
true.
folks,
Okay.
I will now open it up to the floor. So just raise your hand, and we'll go and get started with the questions. This gentleman is very urgent to say something. So there we go.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So, just a quick question. What did you think of working on Monster?
Monster was great. It was a really different character. I play Inspector Lunge in Monster. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's what's really nice about that is it's almost kind of like a live action serial, and it's really kind of cool. And my character is this super obsessed. He's as crazy as the criminals he's tracking, and he's just kind of a nut. I mean, he's so obsessed that he basically his wife leaves him, his daughter leaves him. Everybody walks out on him because he has no time for anything but his work. And it was a really great character to play. I really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it's funny. I just saw, there was something on YouTube today that I just saw, a scene where he gets shot and this guy's going to kill him. And they're struggling, and Lunges reaches out. He had shot the guy in the side, and he reaches up and he basically grabs his wound and squeezes it until the guy lets go of him, and then he jumps up and puts a gun in the guy's mouth. Love that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a great character, and once again, a very different voice than what I normally am cast for. So that was fun to do something like that. Very, very unusual.
Another question.
You wear a lot of different hats. You run Epcar Entertainment, you're a voice director, you're a writer, you're voice acting.
How
do
the
you
hell do I do it?
Exactly. How do you balance everything?
Carefully. I'm very, very fortunate that I get to do, a lot of stuff that I really enjoy. And as far as writing, directing, and acting, I really kind of feel like they're all creative things and they all kind of come from the same place, So it's all just kind of my creative side. I go through spurts where I'm directing a lot and I'm not doing voice work, and I really miss the voice work. And then I go through spurts where I'm doing just voice work mostly, and then I really miss the directing. But I really enjoy it all, so it all works out. It really does work out. It's great, and I've been doing lately. I've been doing just mostly voicing, which has been fun to do that. So it's good.
Next question, Michelle.
Yeah, sorry, we couldn't make it to the, you did the screening of the Stardust Crusaders yesterday?
You couldn't make it?
No, I couldn't
Okay,
make it,
okay.
sorry. But, they had that on Crunchyroll. You did the first 3 episodes?
Yeah, Joseph Joestar.
As Joseph,
Yeah.
old Joseph Joestar. And since I wasn't there, is there any news that what's going to happen to that? Are you going to continue?
I'm not really at liberty to say
Okay.
anything about it, but if I were to venture a guess, I think there probably might be some more of that. I don't know. I don't know.
And then the follow-up is that, how do you feel about playing old Joseph Joestar?
He's a fun character. He does scream a lot,
Yeah.
which is kind of tough when you're in the booth and you're working for hours at a time and you're just screaming a lot. But it's not as bad as I do a lot of these combat games like Call of Duty and Spec Ops and those sort of things where you're basically just really screaming over the tanks and the machine guns and all that stuff. So it's not that kind of screaming, fortunately. But it is. He's kind of a hyper guy. He's just really loud and boisterous and big, and it's fun. He's a fun character to play. Very, What? much like myself. Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about Broken Spirits?
Broken Spirits. Thank you for asking. It's a live action movie that I'm an actor in on camera, and I play a shady shaman. Say that 10 times real fast. Shady shaman. And it's a great movie. It was shot pretty much on a shoestring. We shot it out in the desert, and it's a wonderful story. It's kind of like Army of Darkness. It's that kind of a thing where it's just kind of an adventure, sci-fi, low budget, silly, a lot of humorous stuff in it. And I provide a lot of the comic relief in it. My characters are really a cool character because he starts out as this really sleazy guy, and he has this sweat lodge in the desert, and everyone comes and pays him money, and he does all this gibberish and charges them a bunch of money, and he realizes that people start disappearing through this vortex in the sweat lodge, which happens to be over an ancient burial grounds. And they find out later that there's, I don't want to tell you too much about it, but there's some demons on the other side of they're trying to suck the people through the vortex to take over their bodies and come back into the real world. So so I have to become heroic, and change my whole thing. So it's a really fun movie, and I was really happy to become part of that, and I hope that they release it at some point soon. Unfortunately, the director who did it, he was almost like 7/8 of the way through the film, completing it. He had a stroke, and so that put a big, kibosh on finishing it. So I'm hoping he's doing better, and I'm hoping that they get it done and release it, and because I think it's a really cool movie, and it could become like a cult, classic or something like that. But thank you for asking about that.
Got another later on here that we're gonna sneak in real quick.
How dare you!
I know.
It's okay. I like your cute little sailor suit, so you're forgiven.
Sneak in some. Okay.
That's all right.
Gentleman in green hair.
Thank you.
It's not something you hear every day.
They make it easy to call on.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've voice acted for video games and TV shows. I was wondering, do you watch any of the shows that you've voice acted for, and which ones were your favorites to watch?
It's hard. I do like Ghost in the Shell. That's one of my favorite. And I do try to catch some episodes here and there when I can. I'm super busy, so it's hard for me to watch stuff. People always ask me, do you play the games that you're in? And I was in this Transformer game, War for Cybertron. I played Skywarp in it. And they had this big rap party at the studio with this giant screen, and they gave us all controllers, and we got to play our characters. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the game, but you start out in a cave, and then you get out of the cave and you go on your mission. Well, it took me like an hour to get out of the cave, and I said, okay, that's it, I'm done. I'm a much better actor than I'm a gamer. So I don't really do a lot of gaming. If I'm on something, I'll try to watch it, but it's hard. It's sometimes hard. I was at some convention, and I was in a thing called Ninja Scroll, which is like 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And somebody asked me about that, and I said I'd never seen it. And they couldn't believe that, and so they gave me a copy of it, so I finally got to see it. But, and even here the other day, I had not seen the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing. I had not seen that before, so it was kind of fun for me to actually see them, because we go in, we do our stuff, and we leave. It's not like we get a copy of it or we watch it ahead of time or anything like that. So it's fun to see it. It's always fun to see it put together at the end.
Let's wait for this door to get shut. All right. Sorry.
Don't they know they're interviewing me?
Well, there's a big sign up, says quiet, but nobody else is. Right in the second row there.
Yes. With such an extensive background and level experience, what actually inspired you to begin voice acting? And through your career, what has been your most memorable experience or even character that you've portrayed?
Honestly, I hate to say that I kind of fell into it, but I kind of fell into it. I went to Los Angeles to become an on-camera actor. I went to LA to become Clint Eastwood, and I became Mel Blanc, instead. So it was kind of a strange deal. But, I went out there to do, and I did. I worked on a lot of soaps, and I worked on some TV shows and some films and stuff like that. And I actually did get to work on some good stuff on camera. But I kind of fell into this thing with the voice thing. My wife, Ellen Stern, at the time was my girlfriend, and she was working on a film and the company had another film that they had shot, and they didn't like the lead guy's voice, so they had auditions. And Ellen said, well, can I bring my boyfriend, who was me? And I went in there, and the guy said, have you done this before? I said, oh, I've done it a million times. I never did it before in my life. And I went in there, and I knocked it out of the park, and I think one of the reasons I did was because I'm also a drummer, and there's a rhythm to dubbing, particularly when you're trying to do the lip sync and all that stuff. And so they hired me, and I redid the guy's voice in that, and then I went on to do much more of that stuff. And they call me from time to time. Like I redid Lou Ferrigno's voice and Sinbad and things like that. They call me in to do these things all the time. But don't tell Lou that, because he'll kill me, because he's very upset that they re-voiced him. But it just kind of turned out like that, and they hired me in to do more and more stuff. And then from that, I got into Robotech, and I just started working all the time. And I got to say, when you go out for on-camera stuff, you're up against 300 guys for every role, and you got to drive clear across town, and you're waiting there, and it's just Whereas with this stuff, I started working all the time, and people started calling me, and I just the on-camera stuff kind of dropped to the wayside. Unfortunately, it did, because I would love to do more of that. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to try to put some effort and focus into that as well. But it's kind of hard because I'm so busy with the voice stuff. But it turned out to be a really good thing and a blessing in disguise. So it all worked out for the best.
She had also asked if you had a most memorable one, which may be difficult with 400 voices.
Yes. Yeah, it's, I was trying to remember, and somebody asked me the same question in the panel I just came from, and I finally remembered the actor. Peter Ustinov, a very famous actor, they used to ask him, what was your favorite character? And he used to say, or what was your favorite role? And he would say, my next, which I think is a great answer. I've done so many characters. There's a lot of them. I love Bateau, of course. He was, a really good character. I love doing the Joker. He's just really fun to do. He's just an iconic, amazing character. Raiden, Ansem in Kingdom Hearts. There's so many. I love being part of Transformer franchise. I love being part of Robotech franchise. I love being part of a lot of these, the X-Men franchise. So, there's a lot of these big franchises that I'm a part of at some point. So it's really nice to be part of those. There was one game, unfortunately I can't remember the name of it, but the writing was phenomenal in it, and I just remember getting really caught up with it emotionally, and I just thought that was really nice when something like that can really touch you and move you, and that you can incorporate that in your performance. I think that's always really a bonus. So one day I will find out the name of that.
I'll be looking for it.
Okay, good.
In the front row.
When do you expect to start recording for Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't know. They keep rumoring that it's coming up. It's coming up. So hopefully it'll be soon. I know the fans are really chomping at the bit, and they ask me every chance they get. I don't know. I have no idea. So. Do you know why I got the part of Ansem in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I remember Billy Zane was originally.
Billy Zane did the first one, and for whatever reason they didn't. Either he didn't want to do it, they didn't want him. Whatever the reason was, they had to replace him. And the reason I got that part was the guy who does the voice of Ansem in Japan does the voice of Bateau in Ghost in the Shell. So the Japanese producer said, who does the voice of Bateau in America? And they said, Richard Epcar, and they literally hired me without auditioning. And I can count on one hand. I've done 500 characters. I can count on one hand how many times that's happened. I still have to audition for every bloody character.
Gentleman there in the third row.
Now, is there anyone in the voice acting industry that you may have not worked with that you would like to work with? Anyone you would like to work with more?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Anybody who's good, I'm happy to work with. I wanted to work with Andrea Romano for a long time. I finally got to work with her on Legend of Korra, and that was really great. And I don't know. Anyone who's good. That's all I can say. I don't know about that.
Good answer.
Yeah.
In the back row.
And I apologize once again for calling
It's
you.
quite all right. Don't worry about it.
If
I've already forgotten.
If someone asked this question already, please stop me. But have you ever accidentally used the wrong voice
No.
with 500 voices? Like, how do you keep them
No, because when we go in the studio, they have voice samples for us. So,
Okay.
yeah, it would be impossible for me to remember every character I do. Even at conventions, people come up and say, can you do the voice from blah, blah, blah? And I'm thinking, I have no idea what that guy sounds like. But the thing is, you know, when you go in the studio, they have voice samples, they have references for you. Because, you know, sometimes you'll go in and you record something, and then you won't go back for several months. So, you know, it's hard to remember exactly what you're doing. So thank God they have that. And that's kind of a recent thing, too. And so that's a good thing. The technology has helped us tremendously over the years. I started out in Robotech, like I'm talking, you know, when we did that show, it's what I like to call combat dubbing, because we had no beeps, we had no Pro Tools. You basically had to grab the time code off of the picture and look at the script and see when that line starts and guesstimate when they're going to start doing it, and keep doing that line until it was actually in sync. So that's the way we used to have to do it, you know, and you'd have to do several passes at it generally to get it in there. And now with the Pro Tools, they can move stuff, they can compress it, they can expand it, they can do all kinds of stuff to the line and make it fit. And it's just, it's really, it makes our lives a lot easier, so, you know. These kids today have it so easy.
Orange Wick, yes.
Over the years, there's been a few different versions of Bato from Ghost in the Shell. Have you had to like voice act differently for any of them? Were there any difference in the character that you felt while voice acting them?
Yes, when he has a ponytail, I completely change my voice. Oh, I don't. I play him pretty much the same. He's pretty much the same guy. And the new one, as you know, in Arise, I'm not in Arise, but it's a reboot of it's a prequel, and it's being done in Texas by Funimation, so they have a different cast that they're using on that. So,
How dare they?
yeah, it's bastards.
Right there, Mr. E.
Did you have any inspiration when you were putting together your Joker voice? There's been a few Jokers over time.
Yeah.
How did you put your voice together?
I like this guy. He asks really good questions. You know, that was a really interesting, the way that came about. It really came about through a really weird way. I was in a game called Xenosaga, and I played Ziggy, Ziggurat 8. And in the second incarnation of that game, there was a lady who directed me. Her name was Richard Epcar, and she remembered me and really liked me. And she got the opportunity to cast Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. So she brought me in, and I went into the audition for this, and they had Warner Brothers on the line, they had DC Comics on the line, and she basically said to me, Richard, they want you to read for everyone. So I got to read all the Mortal Kombat characters, and I got to read all the DC characters, and I'm going, this is like being a kid in a candy shop, you know? So I'm doing Batman, Superman, all the Raiden, Scorpio, and, all those guys. And I just had a blast. It was just like the most fun audition I've ever been on in my life. And then when she asked me to do the Joker, they asked me to do the Joker, I have no idea where this voice came from. It just came out of me. It was almost like, I know this is going to sound strange, but really, it was almost like it had a life of its own. And it just kind of just came out of me. And I just kind of got out of the way and let it do its thing, and the laugh and everything, it was unbelievable. So, as I'm leaving, she said to me, they liked all of your stuff. What would you like to do? And I said, well, if I had my choice, which the actor never does have his choice, it's always up to them. I said, I would love to do the Joker just because it was so different, and so much fun. And I became possessed. So, she called me in a couple of days and said, you booked Raiden in Mortal Kombat, and you booked the Joker. And I thought, oh, that's great. Now, it was great and it was not great because, there's all these Mark Hamill fans that went, mazebas when I did the Joker. But, the funniest thing to me was when a few of them tried to accuse me that I was trying to sound like Mark, because to this day I've not heard Mark do the Joker. That's the truth. And I purposely don't want to hear Mark do the Joker because I don't want to hear what he does. I will never go in and do a character as another actor doing the character. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know why anyone would think that I would do that anyway, It's like somebody doing James Bond and doing a Sean Connery impersonation. It's just not going to work. You have to make it your own, So, I just do whatever I do, and I got a lot of flack in the beginning and that particular game, but when I went on to do Injustice, I got a lot of fans, and people really liked it, and it was really nice, and it made it all worthwhile. So I'm looking forward to doing him again. I'm doing him in another game called Infinite Crisis, and there's another game that I'm going to be playing the Joker in, which I can't talk about right now. But so it's nice. I get to play that character, and it's really he's an iconic, wonderful character. And as I said in my previous panel, when I'm done doing him, and when Mark's done doing, and all these people are done doing, there's going to be other actors doing the Joker, just like Heath Ledger did it, and now what's his name's doing it, who I think is completely wrong for it, but but let's give him a chance. I don't want to be like one of those guys that would beat me up on the internet. You got to give them a chance, and you never know. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about actors. Sometimes they can really step up and do amaze you, and when people heard I was doing the Joker, they thought I was going to use my Bateau voice for the Joker. And they go, how's that going to work? And it's like, no, I'm not doing Bateau as the Joker. That doesn't even make sense, And then when people heard it, they had no idea that was even me. So, it was really fun, and I love doing him. He's a great character. A lot of fun to do him.
I'd like to hear the recording of you recording Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat. I think that would be interesting. The gentleman in the green hair over there.
Like you said, you worked on other shows and video games and movies and stuff like that. Were there any shows that you auditioned for and didn't get the part, but you wanted to work on it?
None that really come to mind. If I could do it, I would love to do the Joker in a series, in an animated series. I'd love to do that. And actually, I'm doing a series of animated features. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this or not.
You're not being recorded or anything.
Oh, no. All these devices. Let's just say it's coming out soon, and we've done 3 of them so far, and they're original animated feature films, and it's in the Batman universe, and I play one of the lead characters in that as well. It's not the Joker, but somebody else. Ooh, that's pretty vague, isn't it? Kind of.
We might figure it out when we see it. The gentleman in the third row.
So, just kind of going back to, you're talking about Mortal Kombat. Raiden kind of goes through a bit of a big change at the end of Mortal Kombat X. So,
Yes.
I guess, what are your kind of thoughts on specifically his change to being like the kind of benevolent protector of Earthrealm to more someone who's out for vengeance? And do you have any other like roles that you kind of enjoy? Do you like enjoy that kind of face heel turn? Big changes in characters, do you kind of like that?
Oh, sure, yeah, it's always fun to do that, I'm just happy that he decapitated Chinook because he's played by Troy Baker, so. I do love Raiden, and he is a benevolent and a protector and a very noble and honorable character, and it's really fun to play him because of that. But there is something kind of fun too about he's got a little bit of Chinook's evil in him, I think, after he went into the Jinsei chamber and there was evil in there, and so he's basically just got this, we're not going to take any more crap attitude, and if you attack us, we're going to come after you and we're going to kill you and we're going to get rid of you. And so I kind of like it. I kind of like that. I mean, he keeps trying to do the right thing and protect Earthrealm, and then people keep coming and challenging him and doing all this stuff, and I just think no more Mr. Nice Guy. So I don't think he's evil per se. I just think he's not going to put up with anything anymore. He's just going to go for it. But he's a great character. I do love playing him. He's awesome. And, it's good to be a god. This is kind of interesting. I am the only guy you can say that I played Thor and Raiden, so I'm the god of thunder and the thunder god. No other actors can say that.
Got time for maybe 2 more questions right there.
I just kind of wanted to know, with so many characters as we all have discussed now, what is your routine and like your method of preparing for each new character? Is there something special that you do, or?
Well, you know, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm kind of used to, you know, and the way we work when we do these games or animation, unless it's original animation. When it's original animation, they will actually send you the script ahead of time, which is nice. But in general, with the games, you don't get any script until you go in the booth. So basically, you have to cold read a performance every time you go in there, and that's very difficult. And it's very difficult for a lot of actors. It's a skill that a lot of actors don't necessarily have. So you have to really be able to do that and step up and be able to just jump in and perform this stuff cold. And that just comes with experience and time and being able to do that sort of thing. So, you know, unfortunately, there's really no preparation other than, you know, vocal warm-ups before I go there and try to warm up my voice so that I don't, you know, kill myself when I get in the booth. But, yeah, there's not a lot you can do unless, like I say, if it's an original animation, like with Legend of Korra, they would send us the scripts a few days before we go in, and you could actually look it over and be able to do that. But that's the exception rather than the rule, to be honest with you. So.
Gentleman in the third row, last question.
We talked a lot about what you do in like to prep and in pre-production and all that sort of stuff. What is an actor's role in post-production for the voice actors? I was just curious if they call you back or they make you do anything special or it's just
Post-production on something that you're on
like,
camera in, you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about like post-production voice acting. That's what I was talking about. Do they ever call you back in for like extra ADR or something?
Oh,
like
sure,
that? Okay.
yeah. There could be pickups or line changes or, you know.
Okay.
But anything that's done after something is in the can is considered post-production.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you're in something and they bring you back or they have you add something or whatever, that's all post-production. So I just worked on a Disney project that was pretty cool, actually. I do the voice of one of the characters. It's a live action show, but the character has like a mask on and I'm doing the voice of this character. And, you know, that's considered ADR, you know, even though it's really, you know, we're creating a voice for this character for the first time. But anything that's done, like I say, after the fact is considered post-production or ADR, so.
All right, folks, Richard is a busy guy. We've got Tony coming in right afterwards, so we do have to please join me in thanking Richard for taking time out.
Thank you, guys.